Lake Cania may well be the smallest arena in the AFC, but there's still plenty of water here and lots of fish holding habitat. And these Australian bass are well spread through the dam. I suspect we're going to see our pros using a lot of spinner baits and lipless crankbaits to cover as much water as possible and hopefully catch as many of these fish as possible, looking for those two big kickers that are going to give them a winning bag.
Starlo, how different are these oyster racks here that we're used to seeing like for somewhere in Foster?
Look, these floating racks, you do need to fish them a little bit differently. Often they're moored up in quite deep water and all the action is typically right up underneath the floats and underneath those hanging cages rather than down near the bottom. So the fish tend to be very close to the surface. A lot of times with your polarised sunglasses you can actually see fish in there, but it's really important to get the lure as close as you possibly can to the structure. Oh, and the fish will come out and have a go at it like one just did then. Yeah, there's some fish in here. It's also important to look at what the tide's doing. We've got a run out tide here. The fish tend to accumulate towards the up current end of the structure. If you think of it like a boat pushing into the current, they'll be up near the bow. I love fishing these things. Dizzy, the whole pre-fishing thing's an interesting question. What's your approach to pre-fish? Do you like to catch some fish on pre-fish, or do you sort of feel that everyone you catch on pre-fish day is one you're not going to catch in the comp?
Yeah, I don't like to catch too many fish on pre-fish day. I don't mind getting a few, but I try not to fish too many in my spots. But I've learnt during the AFC that sometimes you actually have got to go into the spots that you think you're going to fish and actually give them a good go, because if you don't know if the fish are there, you could end up in all sorts of trouble, a bit like Foster. I didn't go near any of my spots until the day, and I really struggled on the day.
So Tim, for the first time ever, we've got one angler fishing bass and brim rounds. That's you. How does that feel?
Oh, it's pretty good, Starlo. Well, probably this year I've done a bit more bass fishing than brim fishing, so I'm really looking forward to get out there and mixing it up with the boys.
Brim versus bass, which is the tougher fish?
They can be as hard as each other to catch. I think bass can be a bit more temperamental with the weather conditions. Brim maybe more so with the tides and the areas that they're fishing, but definitely when they get a case of lockjaw, both can be really hard to catch.
And Dizzy, you've just been really going well on the ABT circuit. You're top money earner at the moment. You're second overall on all-time points. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's been fantastic, Starlo. This has been the best year I've ever had. I've won about 24,000 bucks this year, so it's certainly one of the best.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us, and good luck in this round.
Thanks a lot, Starlo.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh! Look at this absolutely immaculate fish, and believe it or not, our pros in this round will be disappointed if they hook a few of these. That's because this is a barramundi, but the Mondrian round is a bass round, and that's what our guys are supposed to be targeting. But you know, Mondrian is famous for its big barramundi, and they grow a lot bigger than this, so we're sure to see a bit of barra action. It'll disappoint the guys, but it'll excite us. I would love to catch a fish like this any day of the week, and I'm sure you would too. Mondrian is the place to come and do it. I'll get this one back in the water. Just before we go, it wouldn't be an AFC without a little traditional dunking for those winning anglers.
Oh,